on our promise to bring you some in-depth election coverage.
Our Montana McLaughlin sat down with the support and opposition of Initiative 181. She joins us now live with what it could cost you, Montana.
Yeah, Steve, Laurel, let me just break down the facts for you. This initiative asks taxpayers to pay back bonds for $20 million a year over the next 10 years to fund biomedical research in our state. Boiling it down, one side says that's too much money, while the other claims you can't put a price on the quality of life.
Alzheimer's disease, mental health disorders, and more affect thousands of Montanans. Health experts that we talk to say the problems are only getting worse as the baby boomer generation ages.
Montana right now spends $150 million a year funding the care of Alzheimer's patients. By 2050, that number is nationally and certainly in Montana is going to triple. That'll be doggone near $500 million a year.
Alzheimer's disease alone is the most expensive disease to treat in the United States.
We checked out their stats with the state health department and they're right. That's why they support Initiative 181, which would create a state organization responsible for distributing that $20 million a year to deserving researchers in Montana. But meet Dick Barrett.
Your spending decisions have to be made in the context of the budget. You have to know that when you decide you're going to spend $10 million over here or $20 million over here, that means you're not going to be able to spend it on something else.
A longtime economist, he says he'd rather see that money spent on state infrastructure.
Should we be spending our money on a particular set of research projects?
Barrett also says that the way this research would be funded is unusual.
The voters don't typically appropriate money or engage in state spending via an initiative.
He says research money typically comes from federal agencies like the National Institute of Health. But Kavanaugh and Gray say there's a reason they took it to the public.
We have very strong provisions in our Constitution which allows the people to have input on what happens in this state.
The funding has become more and more concentrated at elite institutions on the coasts, and that has put pressure on our ability to keep up.
They hope in the long run the initiative will bring world-class researchers to Montana. But Barrett says it shouldn't matter where medical researchers work to reap the health benefits.
I'm just concerned about good policy.
Policy Montanans will have to determine on November 8th.
So here's the bottom line. A yes vote means you're in support of paying back $20 million of borrowed money for neurological research. With interest, taxpayers can expect to front around $300 million over the next 30 years. And a no vote means that you oppose this use of your tax dollars. Reporting live in Missoula, Montana McLaughlin, NBC Montana.
Thank you, Montana. Now, there is much more on both sides of this story. And if you're interested, you can find all of the details online at nbcmontana.com.
To put issue 181 in perspective, we went digging into the budget for the National Institutes of Health to find what they plan to spend on neurological research just this year. Here's what we found. The NIH will spend $6 billion on neurological science research in 2016. They will spend an additional $4.1 billion on just brain disorder research. Another additional $2.3 billion will be spent this year on mental health research, and another $2 billion will be spent on just Alzheimer's research this year.
Right now,